Happy Monday. It's Monday, the 16th of March. It means it's time for Mindset Mastery Monday. My name's Tanja. If we haven't met before, I'm a leadership and mindset specialist. Hey, Luke, great to have you here. Erin, one other who I can't see who it is yet. Wonderful to have you join me. And I dedicate every Monday and Friday to coming on to Facebook and to make myself available you access to ask any question of stuff that you're navigating or dealing with. G'day Emily, Elish, great to have you here. And provide my best A's to your Q's. Ivana, good morning to you. How is everybody? First thing, I'd love you to type in one word to describe how you're feeling. How are you feeling with all this coronavirus craziness? You know, there's been an announcement from the Prime Minister this morning. There's been self-quarantine issued. People that are coming in from overseas that are Australian have to self-quarantine for 14 days. Hi, Jackie Bailey. Good morning, Fiona. Great to have you here. So yeah, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about the coronavirus? Just curious. Does it feel like it's having a big impact on your business right now or yourself? And do you know anyone that's been directly affected? Of course, navigating Kaya being so we thought it might be that, but she's been tested. She is fine, which is good. Finding it hard to stay inside, abundance and positive. Yes, Emily, this time of all times will definitely affect our mindset. Morning, gorgeous lady. Good morning. Right back at you, Jen. It's a little overwhelming. It is a little bit overwhelming. So here's the thing I first of all want to say. We have to be responsible for what's going on, meaning we don't want to be silly, we don't want to be ignorant. And I say that for myself too, because I actually don't watch the news ever. I don't watch the news. And I don't watch the news because I find that the media really over sensationalizes everything and it's really dramatic. And I believe it's either good in, good out, or garbage in, garbage out. And I don't want to fill my head with dramatic garbage. That being said, we need to be responsible around remaining educated on the current reality so we can prevent, any harm, damage, or whatever. So be responsible, keep educated. That's step one. But step two, the drama and the suffering and the overwhelm, that is a choice. You can be educated, you can be clear, you can be decisive, but all the rest, all the swirl, all the chaos, all the distraction, all that's the reason why my business isn't working, that can be an excuse. However, it is for some people having a direct impact on their business, as in customers are not walking in the door. I had an event today. It was my daughter's 18th birthday, and one of our suppliers for all of our uplights, he lost 30 grand worth of business in the first few hours of the day. So it is definitely having an impact, but how it impacts you will determine your thought process on it. So stay educated, stay responsible, but don't get stuck in the dramatic, overwhelming swirl of chaos. Stephen Bailey, good morning. And Mary Diamond from Little Creatures. Mary, we were just talking about the impact on business around the coronavirus and what business owners can do. And what I was saying is be responsible, be educated, make great decisions, and also, don't let the drama of the coronavirus take up too much of your headspace. Just make decisions and ask your customers. Mary from Little Creatures, she has a beautiful play centre out in Baldwin here in Melbourne, and Mary did a poll. She's asking her customers, do you feel in these times that you would come to a play centre? Her play centre is different to the big play centres where hundreds of kids come and dive into the balls, pits full of balls, but she still is asking the question to find out what her consumers are thinking and how they feel. So that's what a great business owner does. They tune into their clients and ask, what do they need? So good luck with Mary. So today is Open Mic Monday. Fiona's feeling concerned. I live in a small town. Generally, if one person gets something, it goes through the whole town. It hasn't affected our office yet, but I'm sure we will be having discussions today. I think the whole country will be having discussions today. Schools are looking to close down. We've got, the Prime Minister doing self-quarantine for people that are coming in. Cruise ships have been cancelled. So, hey, and Edwards, Oh, that's a good spelling. So, we definitely need to keep on top of it. Greg, great to have you here. As I said, Fiona, like be educated, be responsible, but master your mind. As soon as our mind goes into worry and challenge and concern and drama and chaos, we go into survival, we go into fight or flight, and we don't get access to making high quality decisions. And we are fully cortisoled and adrenalized because we feel like there's a saber-toothed tiger chasing our tail. So there's a difference. Educated and responsible, and no chaos, no drama, no overwhelm, no swirl. Stay calm. So this question I want to answer. G'day, Greg. Good morning. My volunteer force average age is 73. I'm in for a fun week. So Greg is, I'm not sure what your title is, Greg, but he really looks after a lot of, is it Salvos? I think it's Salvo stores. And he has a volunteer force. So they volunteer to work. They don't get paid. And the average age is 73, working in a public place. Can you imagine the leadership decisions Greg is going to have to face today and this week? So, Open Mic Monday, I'm here for you live for the next 25 minutes. I want to answer as many questions as I can. I've got 2 that have been sent in to me this weekend, but if you are joining here live and you have a question around a challenge, issue, concern, something that you need help with, please type it in and I'll do my best to provide a cue. Salvos, yes, Salvos, good on you, Greg. I'm actually going to get Greg to do a recorded Zoom conference call with me because his business has seen incredible growth and with a very dynamic workforce, and I want to pick his brains to find out what he's doing as a leader to see such growth in his business with the average staff member being 73 and volunteering their time to turn up and be of service. So think about a question that you may have. I'll do my best, provide my A to your Q, but I'll answer these ones that were typed into Instagram over the weekend. Number 1, as I started to talk about, my business is suffering financially due to the uncertain times at the moment. Any tips? I'm meditating. Perfect thing to do. First of all, remember, as I bang on about all the time, definition is decisive. So however you define these times of the coronavirus will determine how you engage and interact with them. So if you're like, these are the worst times of life, these are the worst times in my business, it's likely, as I said before, to activate fight or flight and shut down the parasympathetic nervous system, so you are just in full survival mode. Your stress levels will be high, your blood flow will just go straight down to your adrenal glands and your kidneys and not all the other vital organs, and you will not have access to making really high quality decisions or access to your intuition because you will be in survival mode. G'day, Grantiocio, good morning. So meditation is keeping the mind. You and I have 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. 90% of them are the same regurgitated thoughts as the day before, and 85% of them are negative. So if you're constantly thinking negative thoughts, do you reckon that's going to give you access to high quality or low quality decisions? Any tips on being pregnant for the first time in real estate? Ooh, let's make sure we get that down. Good on you. Erin? Last call of the day. Welcome to you. So, definition is decisive. Try and keep an empowering definition of this time, even if your business is struggling. So what would that look like? Well, if your business is struggling right now due to the nature of your business and the coronavirus and lack of foot traffic or lack of consumer engagement, a disempowered definition would be something like, this is the end of my business, this is doom and gloom, I don't know what to do, I'm going to fail, we're going to go under, or whatever it is. Okay, that's not going to give you access to feeling good and innovative at difficult times. Some of the greatest entrepreneurs said that the most challenging times, the times of the greatest recessions, are the times when they had the greatest growth, and it all comes down to mindset. Fairy Mary saying, not to mention what stress does to your immune system. Hell yes. And from Commercial Collective, are you ready to make your 55 calls today, my friend? Yeah, exactly, Mary. It has a huge impact on our immune system. High levels of stress, high levels of cortisol. Now, cortisol is the fight or flight hormone that is produced from our adrenal glands. If you have a little muffin top on your belly, A, it could be alcohol. B, it could also be stress. is the biggest killer of humanity because it puts us in that fight or flight stage all the time. So our body is not getting full blood flow to our vital organs. We are a nervous wreck all the time, and we just need to access the rest and relaxation elements of our parasympathetic nervous system when we're not running away from a saber-toothed tiger. So definition, try and keep an empowered definition of your business. And I'm not saying fake it till you're making it and putting icing over a poo pie going, this is the best time of my life and these are the best times in my business. But you could say something like, these times will pass. I know myself as centered and innovative. I know I will do whatever it takes. And then get practical. Do you need to reduce expenses to keep some cash flow and some resources available? What do you need to change in your shopping or behaviors to make sure you've got a bit of insurance and a buffer zone? Do you need to make an appointment with your accountant or your financial advisor? What expenses can you reduce in your business just to save some money in case things do get worse? Good morning, Louise Robson. How are you, my love? Good morning, Sean. Great to have you here. It's okay. Don't worry about apologizing for being late. You are not late. You're here. Sarah, good morning to you. So we're talking about having Open Mic Monday. We're talking about how is the current times at the moment affecting your business financially, and what advice do I have? Try and keep, well, not try, keep an empowered definition. You know what to do. You're going to make great decisions. You can talk to your consumers. You can be innovative. Pull back on your spending. Reduce your costs. Meet with your financial advisor. Meet with your accountant. Meditate. Separate from worrying thought. Have time in your day, ideally twice a day, to disengage from the automatic thinking of worry. Where attention goes, energy flows. So start to ask yourself higher quality, not doom and gloom questions. Hello, the healthier, curvier. Great to have you here. So ask questions like, what can I do to really help my business blossom? How can I serve my clients innovatively? How can I reduce expenses to ride this wave without stressing? What can I do? Just ask yourself high quality questions rather than fill your brain with worry. But meditation is key. Set yourself some insurance. Start to make some changes to your spending. Have a look at also, is there anything that you can sell to help, keep, pardon me, some cash flow going, but just pull back a little bit, keep a positive mindset, and definitely meditate, number one. Question number two, how can I approach what I see as an issue in my relationship in a non-aggressive way? So this is a question that was sent in on Instagram on the weekend. How can I approach what I see as an issue in a relationship in a non-aggressive way? So I want to address the in a non-aggressive way first. How do you approach a relationship in a non-aggressive way? That tells me, the way that question is written, what that tells me is the person is reacting to whatever the issue is. So they're getting angry. So they're reacting first. So you want to deal with the trigger first, because you want to really resolve or approach an issue, which is great. This person is committed to doing that. Something's not working. There's an issue here. I want to approach it to resolve it for both of us, ideally, but I want to do it in a non-aggressive way. Again, I'm going to come back to, hey, Amy, definition is decisive. So if you are watching this, and it wasn't your question, but you can how are you? If you define, however you define the person in the relationship will absolutely influence how you engage and interact with them. If you define them as, a pain in the ass, someone that's negative, someone that's done you wrong, someone you can't trust, someone that's at you, you're automatically going to be on the defense, automatically. However, if you define them that they're a human being just like you, they're giving life a red hot crack to the best of their abilities and consciousness just like you. They're not perfect just like you, and all we need to do is have a conversation to seek to understand each other. That's going to give you a different access to engage. So number one, definition is decisive. If you have a disempowered definition of them, you're likely to get triggered and react. If you have an empowered definition of them, then seeing them as just like you, you'll be a little bit calmer and more compassionate in your approach. Does that make sense? Steve, I'm going to come back to you for sure. Note, Steve's got a question here. Then There's a great distinction called seek to understand. So before you pass judgment of another when you're trying to work out an issue in relationships, seek to understand their perspective. So ask them, tell me what's going on for you. Now, this takes a higher level of consciousness to do because most of the time we're just ready to attack or defend our perspective. It takes a very generous human being when there are issues in relationships to seek to understand, especially if they're pissing you off. But if you are committed to playing the higher game and to go high when others go low, you want to practice this distinction for sure. So seek to understand other people's points of view. And I promise you, when you do that and you control yourself, and how can you control yourself? Be responsible. What does that mean? Responsible because responsibility just means that you relate to yourself as able to respond to whatever is being thrown at you. And if you can have life happen to you and you not react, that's when mastery in relationships digs in. Brilliant for parenting. Hard to do. It takes practice, but I invite you to practice it. So have a positive, empowered definition of that person. No matter what they've done, they're just like you, giving life their best shot, working to the consciousness they can at the time. Be responsible for the energy you bring into the space and seek to understand their perspective. So ask something like, I don't know why I'm talking to my imaginary person over here. Ask something like, okay, so this issue that we're dealing with, tell me what it's like for you. And what you're doing when they share what it's like for them, you don't want to take it on like it's your fault, but you can definitely hear them from a distinction of I'm responsible for the resolution of this. I'm standing for a committed transformation in this situation. Now, when they're sharing what's going on, let it just dump to the floor. Don't take it on, but hear them. It's like you've got a catcher's mitt, a baseball catcher's mitt. You're getting their communication. There's something powerful when someone's communicating. Hey Marie, great to have you here, beautiful. How is the coronavirus affecting the travel business, my love? I'm curious. You have a beautiful business down in South Australia, Kaleidoscope Travel. How are things going for you, my love? We're unpacking businesses that are getting affected by what's happening at the moment. So when people are talking to you and you say, I get it, I hear you, that's the first step to transforming issues in your relationship, is to hear each other. If you're unwilling to hear the other person, you're not going to have access to transform the relationship because you're just defensive and reactive. So get their perspective and say, I get it, I hear you. That in itself will transform the issue because most people just want to be heard. Then once you've done that, you can say, okay, and what do you want to do about that? Ask them, what do you want to do about this? Get their perspective. Now, they might not know. They might go, I don't know, I'm just over it. Or you do this or you do this. So you can go, okay, I get that too. You're over it. And you want me to do this and this. I got it. Keep getting their communication. Takes a lot to do this, but it's a practice. And then hopefully you're where they're empty and you're being very generous in your listening, very generous in your relating, and you've really got all of their concerns. And then you can say, okay, I hear you. And then you mirror it back. So if I've heard you correctly, you're annoyed about this and this. And when I do this, it makes you feel like this. And you really want it to stop and you're committed to this. That's what I hear. And they'll go, yeah. That distinction is called recreation. That's when you recreate the communication from another. And when you can effectively recreate the communication of another, reflect everything that they've said, reflect their hopes and dreams and their issues, challenges, fears and concerns in a way where you've just got them, a lot of all the tension and the drama just diffuses because for the first time in a long time, they've been with someone, potentially even a significant other who's actually just fully heard them rather than being distracted or being on their phone or not fully present. That's step one to transforming amazing, or issues in the relationship. Hey Karen, great to have you here. Please, if this is making sense, can you give me a thumbs up and let me know, or let me know what your response to what I'm saying is. And if you feel like you could practice this yourself. Also, if you're watching this live, can you type in live? Or if you're watching the record, type in record. That would be amazing. Okay. Then you want to make sure when you've got their communication and they're really unpacked, and you can say to them after that, is there anything else? Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Emily. Anything else you want to share? No, go. Great. Okay, got that. Then, thanks, Fairy Mary. Then you can say, okay, would it be okay now if I shared my perspective of this? You're asking permission, not because they're in charge and they're the boss. I want them to be open to what you have to say. If I just go in with a barrage of, well, here's my perspective, it's likely that their subconscious mind is going to shut down and get defensive, which means they won't be open to hearing me. So if I say, okay, I got everything that you said, and I get where you're coming from. Yes, communication, Louise, exactly. And, here's my perspective without blaming responsibility for your own responses, then you're seeking to understand each other. So you can say, from my point of view, when this happens, I feel this. Now, here is the biggest problem that I see in relationships when people actually blame each other. When you do this, you make me feel angry, you make me feel insecure, you make me feel this. No, nobody can make you feel anything without your consent. I'm going to say that again. Nobody can make you feel without your consent. How you feel from other people is your response to whatever they're communicating. It's your feeling. They're not making you angry. They're not making you insecure. They're not making you jealous. They're not making you sad. That's you. So we have to be responsible for the projection of our disempowered emotions and stop blaming others for how we feel. Yes, Louise is like, oh, I love that. If you do that, you are not responsible. You are disempowered. And remember, responsibility as a distinction means I'm able to respond. You take responsibility for your own emotions and you blame others and you say, you make me feel that. Equally, on the flip side, if you have to be in a relationship to feel loved, to feel connected, to feel pretty, to feel valued, or you have to have a certain amount of dollars in your bank account to be successful, we've all been there. We've all blamed something else for the way we feel, but the way we feel is our territory. And I promise you, when we start, and I'm getting this for myself, by the way, as this is coming out of my mouth, this is self-coaching for you as well, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not all over here empowered and preachy. I'm like listening to this going, oh yeah, where can I do this for myself? Hey, Belinda and James, great to have you here to Open Mic Monday. And I'm unpacking how things are affecting our business with the current conditions and addressing at the moment, how do we approach issues in relationship in a non-aggressive way? So feel free to watch the record if you've just catch. Great to have you here. So be responsible for your response. No one makes you feel anything. And if you feel triggered or you're blaming situations, you want to take a step back and take a look at that and go, ooh, okay, here's an opportunity for me to get into an empowered state. Because whenever you blame external circumstances for why you are empowered or disempowered, you give your power over to others, and you are way more resourceful than that. That's why in these shitty, challenging times, you've got to keep an empowered definition for yourself, others, and the world. Amy, emotions have always get in the way. That's the part to manage. Yes, and emotion, Amy, is just energy in motion. You want to suppress it, but you want in a very mindful and responsible way. And in relationships, we trigger each other. We have either access to transform or decline and erode connection. And Marianne Williamson is masterful at talking about relationships. So when two people come together to elevate each other's growth, and we either do that or we erode our growth. And if we erode our growth, it's typically because we're playing the blame game and we're not being responsible for our own funk that's coming up. And we're projecting it and we're blaming them. So stop doing that. If you are blaming others around the issue, then you'll have no access to transformation. Sure, good morning. Be responsible for your definition. See the other person that you have issues with as a human being doing their best with their level of consciousness at the time, just like you. Be genuine in your listening. Seek to understand. Get in their world. Get their point of view and ask them, what is this like for you? And then ask them, and what are you committed to? And if they're committed to ending the relationship, then why would you want to be with them if they want to end it and you want to stay into it? Louise is, I'm writing. Did you say be responsible for your response? Yes, be responsible for your response. whatever. Louise is asking, did I say be responsible for your response? Be responsible for your own response. And we could take this a deeper level, Louise. I wasn't going to go here, but if other people are having a response, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. But you could stand in, you're responsible in that moment for helping transform that. But you're not going to transform it by getting defensive and attacking and playing the blame game. You're only being generous in your listening, compassion in your approach, and patient. So be responsible for your responses to other people's situations. Make sure you have your time to unpack your emotions without blaming them. You could say something like, when you do this, I notice I feel this. Or when you said that, I made it mean that you think this. Take responsibility for your response. And then you want to share what you're committed to. What I'm committed to in this conversation is that we understand each other's perspective without getting and each other, and see if we can come to a common ground to disagree. But at the moment, we're just pretending that nothing's going on and we're avoiding each other, and I'm getting triggered and you're getting triggered. So, work towards a common good. It definitely takes a generosity of listening and thinking, though. So I'd love you to type in, what are you hearing if you're not driving? On Facebook and Instagram, what do you hear for yourself? What are you thinking that you might be able to do inside of conversations for people that you're having issues with? Third question, any tips on being pregnant for the first time and working in real estate? I think it was Erin. Did you write that in? So Erin, let me just see. I think it was Erin that typed that in, and I know Steve's got a couple of questions up here. So any tips? So if it's for the person, okay, hard to stay inside abundance and positive. I think that was the question. So if it's for yourself, Erin, is it for yourself or is it for a team member? So if it's for yourself, I always like to use for everything the 3 steps for success, which are elevate your state, simplify your strategies, raise your standards, simplify your strategies, and elevate your state. If you are pregnant, you want to elevate your state. This looks at physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Your body has become a vessel to grow another human being. So you are going to need to make sure you take care of your temple more than ever before. Take care of yourself physically. Get enough rest. Eat good fuel, not filler. Wear comfortable shoes. Slow down, take care of yourself, but also listen to your own body, because some people go, oh, you're pregnant, oh, you need to lie down for 9 months. No, you might want to run a marathon if it's safe for you to do that. Tune into your own body's wisdom and honor the truth of your body, including if you're really tired. Look at reducing any physical exertion and reducing and getting resources at home so you're not working full time and then coming home and cooking and cleaning that. So just take care of your energetic resources. Mentally, look at empowered or disempowered around being pregnant. Is this a great thing for you, or is this, holy shit, that was a surprise and that's thrown you way off your plan? So you want to address what's your emotion to being pregnant, and if it's disempowered, you want to get some help and resources around that so you can get back in an empowered state and make the appropriate decisions for yourself. Emotions, how do you feel emotionally right now? I'm a big fan of natural medicine, and when emotion is high, intelligence is low. So getting herbal resources to support you in being vital and healthy and alive, obviously tested and true for being pregnant, is a good raft, because so much of your body and energy is going towards making another human being. Isn't that just a phenomenon? And take care of your spiritual state. So that's self-care. Then you've got the environment. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that are, well and positive, and make sure you check into yourself around the hours that you're doing in your environment at work. Is there enough ventilation? What's the lighting like? Check the Wi-Fi. By the way, a little reminder, turn your modems off at night. I forgot about this. I used to do this religiously, but we went and visited my girlfriend Louise Shearlings, who's got this amazing machine that NASA built and test astronauts on at pre and post space travel. I've been using this machine for the last 10 years to keep optimal health. And I took one of my daughters to go and have another session on this machine last week, and her thyroid was not looking healthy, was headed in the wrong direction. And Wi-Fi affects the thyroid. So when you have, you know, AirPods and your phone next to you all the time, you are getting radiation to your body. If you've got routers and Wi-Fi boosters in your home, you are getting that radiation into your body. Keep this in mind, of course, if you're pregnant. So a little tip for your health and well-being is turn your modem off in the house at night and turn all devices off and have a shutdown time. Turn them off at 9 o'clock, switch them off so you can start to access, as we said, the parasympathetic nervous system. And just review, when you're pregnant, it's your own journey. It's not one size fits all. Listen to your body above all. I was vegetarian for 4 years, and when I was pregnant with my first child, Kaya, I just craved meat. I just started eating red meat. Like, I was like, okay, this is what my baby wants. So that's my response there, and I hope some of those tips make a difference. Steve Bailey, now you wrote something here. I'm just going to scroll through Instagram. What are you hearing for yourself so far? Steve, pardon me, trying to keep a balanced view on the coronavirus situation, hearing a number of business advisors recommending to batten down the hatches and go into a survival mode, reduce all costs and only keep essentials. I would agree. I absolutely would agree. Reduce costs, just reduce costs, have a level of insurance in your business so you've got cash flow. I know there is a financial advisor to a friend of mine who's pretty experienced, and he's saying that it's going to affect the real estate industry, and this is not coming from me. I don't want to predict anything, but a casual conversation I was having with a friend who's just got a settlement of $2 million from a separation, and she's trying to make some decisions on what to do with her money. Good problem to have, right? But and there's a lot of advice on selling shares at the moment, obviously, because business performance is going down. So you're cashed up to then invest into real estate because there's going to be some good bargains in real estate. So, yeah, Steve, I would say the same thing. Try to keep a balanced perspective for sure. How far do we go? This business survival situation, or do we keep optimistic? What do you think, Steve? What would be the answer to your own question? If you heard me before, I'm saying keep an empowered state of mind, which gives you access to making better quality decisions, yet be responsible in your business. So, as many expenses without being too overreactive, just so you can manage cash flow if things get even worse and you've got a bit of insurance up your sleeve. But be masterful at managing your mind and don't make this mean doom and gloom and the end of everything. Clearly there's a big realignment of energy going on that is forcing us to be there's a lot of higher level spiritual thinking around, which I won't really go into now, but I read something really beautiful last night that's talking about this is going to encourage us to get back to basics, and it'll, I mean, there's the effect on the environment with the action in manufacturing has significantly improved the air quality and environmental impacts. So there is a thinking that we've entered 2020 and this virus is resetting the overconsumption, over mass produced place that we're in, and it's forcing us to go in, to be more resourceful, to get more out of what we have, and it's going to be a reset of consciousness. Just another way of thinking about it. Greg, think about your customer and how you can be of real service during these times. What extra can you offer? I want to actually address this. This is a great story, and then I'll wrap it up here unless there's any other questions that you've asked that I can, be of service to. So let me know if you have a question. It's amazing how one word can change the conversation. One word can change a conversation. Yeah, 100%, for sure. We'll listen to the recording again. Have fun. Oh, you're welcome, Amy. Was saying to my husband earlier, so much to learn. Yes, there is so much to learn from this. Sean, be aware, but don't let it affect you too much. Stay strong and positive and optimistic. What goes down must come up. Sooner or later it will be better. Great. Sean, 100%. Here's what happened to me on Friday. So I had Kaya's 18th birthday party. I booked some uplights from a local supplier called Bay Events. I want to shout out to Stuart Bay Events. The event industry, as you know, is having a huge decline in business. The Grand Prix has been cancelled. It's a $70 million business plus. I mean, that's just the beginning. And that was cancelled because a couple of the Italian riders tested positive for the coronavirus, and of course they're cancelling big events that are happening. What is your extra, says Greg. Ask, what's your extra value? So this Stu and I meet at the venue on Friday night to set up the lights and test. All look good and they're in position. And I just ordered 5 lights, and he turns up with his truck with these big glow orbs and 10 other lights and this flashing light for the bar. It was awesome. And he just brings it in and he's giving it to me. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, the guy had tears in his eyes, right? He just, in the first 2 hours of his day, he had $30,000 worth of work cancelled. He had all of his mates over at his space, and they were just having a bit of a beer session and a powwow. And there he is bumping in, and he could have gone into, here's your 5 lights, and here's the invoice, and life sucks. But he gifted me triple the amount of lighting. And I held his hands and I said, Stu, you've had a really shit morning this morning. You've had $30,000 in the first 2 hours of business cancelled. You're a small business, right? You're a local small business and you've got a family that you're responsible for. And you could just rock up here in a bad mood or not, drop off the 5 lights and the 2 heaters I've hired and be done with it. But you have tripled your stock to me, which has absolutely made this place look amazing. And I said, and I've got tears in my eyes and he's got tears in his eyes, and I just said, this is going to come back to you, my friend. And look, here I am now talking about Stuart Bay Events, and I'm going to tell everyone about Stuart Bay Events because he did exactly what Greg is saying. He did not let the result of losing 30 grand worth of business bring him down and go into emotional quicksand. He just had an abundance mentality and gifted it. And this is going to come back. I've got triple decker goosebumps to you, my friend. I promise you it will come back. And so, as Sean said, be responsible. I say be responsible, absolutely reduce expenses, look at what you can do to have a level of financial insurance, and make appropriate decisions, and reach out to your consumers and ask, what are they thinking, so you can make decisions and add value as much as possible. Louise was, we've read that. Be aware, we've read that. What an amazing guy. How lucky was he? Oh, thank you. Emily saying how lucky he was to have me in that moment. Oh, how lucky was I to have him and you him. Exactly. Wow, what a moment. So amazing. What a human. They're the kind of people. Were you coming from fear and survival and oh my God, or were you coming from cool, this is happening, it's not exclusive to me, it's happening for everyone, so let me keep my state high, let me be responsible, let me reduce expenses, have a level of insurance, but never lose sight of adding value to our clients at these typical at these current times. Greg saying what a love this. Yeah, I love him too. So big shout out to Stu at Bay Events. Guys, definition is decisive. You're either going to define this time as the worst time ever, or you're going to define this time as a time that's going to redefine who we are as humans. And because stuff is shifting, yes, there unfortunately have been a lot of deaths. Yes, there are things that we have to consider, like down and business. But if you keep a definition that there's a higher reason this is happening, that this is going to realign a level of consciousness in humanity so we can start being more responsible for the decisions we're making and reduce the amount of over consumerism, so we can remember what it was like in the little house on the prairie days when life was a little bit simpler and connection was a lot deeper. This is realigning how we behave a human race. Be responsible, keep your thoughts high, be full of how you're engaging, keep adding value to your clients, but yeah, definitely reduce expenses at this time for sure, I say. So I hope you got some value out of me answering those questions. Remember, I am always here for you. And Louise is saying, yes, I'm so happy I tuned in tonight. Louise, great to have you here. You're from the UK, yes, Louise? I think because yeah, great to have you here. Let me know if you got value out of the content. Great to have you here. So I'm going to sign off. I hope you have an amazing week, and please remember I'm always here for you, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Instagram and Facebook every Monday. You can ask me anything about anything. I'll just give you my perspective, and if I don't have anything that I think will be of value, I'll go find out something. Wonderful as always. Thank you for energizing us for the week again. You're welcome. Louise says, have a great see you Friday, Sean. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Louise is in London. Thanks for tuning in, Louise. What's the vibe over there like, my love? I'm curious. Right in. So, Monday is all about Mindset Mastery Monday. It's when you can send me a question and I'll answer it. Friday is Rapid Fire Friday, still live on Instagram and Facebook. It's just where I reflect on the top coaching themes for the week and just pepper some rapid fire tips for you to grab and apply in your life or your business. Okay, so either one, all for you to give you access to fulfilling your potential in the least amount of time. That's what I want for you. So as we sign off, let's read the words of Angelou, who always said, people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Go and do something to make yourself and others today. Around you are going into fear and scarcity and chaos, then see if you can be that voice of reason. See if you can help shift their perspective and see if you can keep yourself and others in an empowered state of mind, reduce the stress that'll only affect your immune system, be responsible for your decisions that you're making, and go well. Much love. Thanks for tuning in and choosing to spend energy and time with me. I really appreciate it. Mwah. Go well. Have a beautiful week. See you on